Hey guys, this is Mercedes with Trim Podcast. Okay, Dill. Hey, this is Mercedes with Trim Podcast. I am also the co-founder of the Fellas Barbershop. I'm going to be emceeing a Trim Podcast today for you guys. And I'm here with one of my most favorite people, a client of mine. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. But you guys are going to see why he's such a rad person and why he's on his podcast today. So tell us who you are.
I'm Ryan Carter. I'm local here, Spanish Fork. I run an outfit called DC Outfitters. I kind of outfit a lot of like local elk hunts.
How did you get started in, like, you said you did grow up here?
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you get started into hunting? Like, did your dad hunt? Like, did your family hunt? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, like kind of old school rifle guys.
Yeah.
I got into other stuff. Like growing up, I was more skating, snowboarding, graffiti type stuff.
You was?
Uh-huh.
You was like more hood style, not like Western boy style?
Yeah. And then I just got into archery.
I didn't know that. You started archery first?
Well, that's all I do. Around 28, almost 30 years old. And
how many times have you like bruised right here on your arm?
Once or twice.
Once or twice, and you're like, I'm good.
Oh yeah,
now I know.
You just have to learn that lesson once.
Oh, for me, like, it hurts so bad, like, and I just like keep trying, and I'm like, I don't know why I keep trying this. Like, I just keep hitting this freaking arm.
It's because your bow's too long.
I just don't even want to shoot bows anymore. Yeah. I don't even like it. It's just made me hate it. I don't love it.
No, it's like your draw length. Like you're not supposed to be overdrawing to where you're extending that far. That's why your string hits you there.
When it hurts too, like it'll get you.
When you draw, your arm's supposed to be bent.
Yeah. Maybe I should just like get some coaching from you before I like start back up my bow career.
Fix your form. It's okay.
Fix my form. Okay, so you grew up here, but you kind of started out as like a little hoodlum, and then you decided like, all right, I'm gonna get into like more of my Western side of my small childhood life. Like, did you just start hunting on your own and then people like started coming to you, or like how did this whole DC Outfitter start?
Yeah, well, like elk hunting's a weird thing in the West because it's really hard to get tags.
Yeah.
Like some states, Idaho, New Mexico, you can get them fairly frequent, if not every year, every other year. Utah's like a 20-year wait type thing.
Yeah.
And people wait so long
like
for tags,
yeah,
without hunting in between that they don't know what they're doing when they walk into it. So, yeah, I don't know why. I guess I'm just, I don't know. I got good at it.
Yeah.
I killed a really big bull, then I started working for somebody, and then I got picked up by a kind of TV show guide company, and then like social media hit, and I'd worked for myself ever since.
Yeah. So you have a side job too, though. Like you'll do whenever they can keep you, I guess, or as often as they can keep you. Sometimes you'll do some like snow plowing, and then what else do you do too?
Well, it's all commercial property maintenance. So, and it's a subcontractor company, and I'm their sales manager and VP of operations for here.
Yeah. And then as long as they can keep you, you're kind of undecided. Some weeks they get to keep you, and then you're like, I'm out of this place. I must have just hunt for the rest of my life.
My falls are pretty busy, and they know that. They're pretty good with it, which is cool.
Yeah, because I'm sure it is hard to like work around with all of the clients that you end up getting and stuff. Is there a certain amount of clients that you'll take on in the year?
Used to be. Anymore, I keep adding guides. I think last year we added 1, and this year I've added 2. I'm up to 9. I still kind of just try to take 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, you personally?
Uh-huh. So, and I cap out at that. That's enough for me.
Yeah. So when you started hunting, what I think people don't know too is like, not only do you say they go a long time, so they apply for these big hunts, they don't get them for 20 years plus, whatever. But it's not just the hunting in the middle. There's even more than that. Like, to actually be able to obtain and like get these big bulls that you're talking about, and that you get, if anyone knows Ryan or follows him on social media, he knows that he's getting these massive bulls. But that's not happening because you're just hunting every year. It's because every what are you going out every weekend, or it's like it's off season, you're tracking these elks. And are you doing like mule deer too, or just elks?
I do both.
Yeah.
I'm really good at elk though.
Yeah.
So I keep myself in that bracket. Some of my guides do a lot more other stuff. And
How
they're
often
good
are
at
you like
that.
tracking these, and like how are you tracking them?
All depends on the like season really.
Yeah.
Summertime I use trail cameras like the motion cameras on trees.
And how often are you checking those?
They don't allow us to run them like all year like they used to. I only get a few weeks that are really effective. So I set them up before July and pull them into July.
I didn't know that. You can't run them all year long?
Yeah,
Is that a new thing?
that's a new thing. Yeah.
What's the reason for that?
We just
They want the bulls to have some
have an
hidden spots?
overzealous government. Like,
Sheesh.
yeah. So it's just more rules and regulations, but there's no point to it. Other than they're saying they're trying to curb technology in a sport that's kind of a traditional sport.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean,
So I think that's the goal, is try to like say they're doing something about the evolving nature of hunting,
yeah.
but it really doesn't change much.
Yeah. I think for everyone listening, you're probably wondering, like, Ryan has nothing to do with barbering. Like, what is Ryan doing here? But I think what I really want to, like, get across to you guys is the dedication and the effort that Ryan puts into his work. And, you know, he is going out and setting up these trail cameras, and you're tracking these bulls. And do you get to the point where, like, when your customer comes to you, you have, like, a couple that you're like, okay, these are a couple that I've been following? Like, kind of which one are you wanting, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's hard to pitch bulls without pictures and video. So the trail camera thing does well in the summertime. It gives me an idea of how they evolved for the year. But a lot of like what I sell them is stuff I film the years prior and then through winter. And then springtime we try to catch up with them, and their antlers fall off. We try to pick them up, but it doesn't happen very often. Like,
What do you do with our antlers? Do you keep any, or you sell them all?
I sell them all.
Do you have a certain vendor that you like stick with, or like just you're like who's paying the most right now?
I have a partner.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And he'll take care of all of that.
Yeah.
How often are you going out collecting antlers?
Not as much as I used to. I don't love it like I used to. I go out 4 or 5 times a year, like big trips.
What does big trips mean?
Just a couple days.
Yeah.
Like
That-
backpack in, set up camp.
That's intense though.
No, it's a long ways back. We do big trips, usually 30 to 40 miles round trip.
Yeah. How do you stay physically fit like all year long to be able to do those kind of trips?
I gym a lot.
Yeah.
I do Peloton.
Yeah. Make sure
Yeah.
you're like getting in those steps,
Yeah.
getting ready for those mountains.
Keep those tendons from being so tight and getting old.
Does hunting feel less fun now that you like have done so many? Like, do you think like no, it's not really about you. It's really now just about these customers and making sure that they get the best. So it's kind of like turn what was probably fun into like more of a job.
Yeah. That's a hard like question to process. I think I enjoy the mentoring more than I do. Like I meet really cool people.
Yeah.
Like I have a clientele base that's like really cool.
Yeah.
And Utah has opportunity to purchase tags as well as draw them. So like a lot of the local guys draw these tags, but they also sell one or two. And I get big money guys. I mean, these tags sell for anywhere between 80 and 260K.
Do you get the tags for them, or do they have to get the tags themselves?
Oh, I don't have that kind of money. No,
That you're like, hey,
they
you get
purchase
the
the
tag.
tags, and then I give them a cost, and we take them out, and we usually kill something pretty big.
How do you offer your deal? Like, do you like set up camp for them? Like, you cook for them? Like, you make it like a little 5-star experience for them?
If that's what they want, I give them options. Like if they want to just be in camp, they want me to get them a trailer or stay in my trailer. That's fine. A lot of guys like bring their own crap.
Cool.
And that's great. Like it's less off my plate. We have a really cool camp, and I have a really good team. like I said, I on the last question, I didn't really finish, but I really like mentoring my guys as much as anything anymore.
Like your guides.
Guides, yeah.
Yeah. What do you like? What would mentoring a guide be like?
Well, it's just like a lot of them are young kids. I mean, they know what they're doing. I have really good guides.
Yeah.
And usually I don't even talk to them unless they've got a decent kind of resume put together, which means they've like been a part of a bunch of big kills or something.
Yeah.
But I just get to spend time with these guys and kind of teach them what I do, which is a lot different than traditional hunting type stuff.
Yeah.
Just because of the intimate knowledge and kind of years set up in these places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And technology has kind of advanced traditional hunting a little bit too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just guns have gotten a little better.
Guns have
We're not
gotten
like
way
putting
better.
like powder down the thing anymore. Like we get to have like these freaking killer sights and all that stuff.
Well, even since I was a kid hunting with my grandpa, like you're shooting these old like 30-06 rifles 200 yards, right?
I still have a 30-06.
Right. Well, now muzzleloaders shoot 400 yards. Rifles shoot 12 out of the box.
Yeah.
And there gets to a point where it's like, is that hunting or is that just killing stuff?
Yeah. That's true.
Right.
That's totally true actually. Do you feel like you collect like because so like for me like I barber, but I actually don't collect barber tools. Like people get real crazy about their barber tools. Like they got like 8 different pairs of scissors, like tons of different clippers. I'm the first one to buy like I'm gonna grab like the first one. Like yes, I invest in my tools, but I also can cut with anything and I'm not really like super huge on my stuff. But I also don't live on a mountain or stay on a mountain, therefore like I maybe would invest a little bit more, but like how invested are you into like your like just even like are you collecting guns? Like are you like I'm a backpack collector, like freaking shoes? Like what is that like for you?
Like a gear junkie?
Yeah, are you a gear junkie?
I'm not at all, no. I have like everything I own is a tool or it's dead weight.
Yeah.
So because I typically don't spend a lot of time in camp, so everything that I use has to be in my pack. And once I start breaking 30 pounds on my day pack, it really slows me down.
Yeah.
Like the cool part about elk, for people that don't know, elk are like really vocal. They bugle, you can hunt them by their sounds versus like any type of deer hunting. You're sitting in a stand, you're glassing on a ridge, whatever it is. Elk make a lot of noise, and so you're on your feet all day long. You're mobile. On a good day of calling, I'll minimize my miles to like 13 miles because we do a lot more setups and we're calling bulls in to the hunters within yards. Like I said, I'm a bow hunter, so it's not like I'm shooting them at 1,200 yards. We're shooting them at 30 yards.
Yeah, that's
Like
intense.
I have a 60-yard max on elk. Because once you get past 60 yards, like you don't get enough penetration to kill them. They're really tough and they're really big. And so we have a 60-yard max rule in camp, and we have to be able to call them in to that kind of range to these guys that aren't as proficient as me or my guides are. Does that make sense? So it's kind of hard. But on a good day of calling, 13 miles. On a bad day, 18 miles. So everything's got to be on my back. Everything has to be a tool or it's dead weight.
Yeah.
And at home, like, yeah, I got like old stuff, but typically I try to give it to family, and
Yeah.
I'm not real,
You've given me
what's
like
the
quite
word?
a bit of cool
Eccentric?
stuff. Yeah.
I'm not very,
Like bougie. We call it bougie in this younger age. We're not bougie.
no, I'm not bougie. And I don't get attached to stuff. So I'm real quick to give away a bow, or
Yeah.
if I can get somebody involved in the sport or try to make it fun for somebody else, I love that.
Yeah. It's true. I actually have like quite a bit of stuff that you've just given me, just between like coolers and donations and like just swag stuff from like hunting. Okay, so what do you do in a scenario where you have someone call you, they want to do a hunt with you, but they're not physically fit and there ain't no fudging way they're making it 13 miles? What are you going to do? Like, but they got the money and they're willing to pay you whatever. What are you going to do?
Well, there's ways.
Like there's horses.
elk still have to live with people, right? Like, so there's places where there's private property. I'll try to get them to buy a tag in an area that I have a lease that has more road access.
Nice. Okay.
Or we ambush type hunt. Like, even if it takes me 5 hours to get them in there, we'll spend the time in the morning to get them in and in place. Hopefully the ambush works. If not, it's a long walk out and that's it.
Yeah.
But
Do you ask people like, hey, are you physically fit enough for this?
I mean,
or you just assume they are? Like, if you want to go on this hunt, then you better know, like, there's some qualities that you got to have, and it's to get your ass up between 13 and 18 miles.
No, I've done well enough that I get to pick and choose who I take.
Yeah. You see somebody in a picture?
So,
what do your legs look like?
So there's people that, you know, I kind of run them through a process. There are eccentric hunters, right? Like, it is a money sport. Like, money will buy you anything, including, like, I don't know. We bought 2 sheep tags. One was $500,000, one was $600,000 with a $300,000 trespass fee. $1 million for one sheep.
Was it that big white one that you posted?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll kill this one in Colorado.
You haven't even killed
August.
It yet?
No.
So this is a paid, like, this sheep doesn't even know it's getting killed, but it's coming.
Yeah. And sheep aren't elk. That'll be an easy hunt.
It will be?
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing. Sheep are really cool, and they're a pinnacle of the hunting, like, icon. But hunting sheep and hunting elk are 2 different worlds. And there are really hard sheep hunts.
There is?
This one isn't one of them. It'll be interesting. But there, you know, it is an eccentric sport, so there is people that don't have the build for it. And they are typically the guys buying these expensive tags.
Yeah.
So they are harder to deal with, but I can manipulate which tags they buy and where we take them to where I think we have opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my role there.
Yeah.
Let's figure out who goes where.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice when you get to a point in your life where you do get to pick and choose, because for so long, like, I had to take clients that I'm like, man, you're just, like, sucking all my energy out. Like, I don't want to hang out with you, you know, but I need your money because, like, I got bills to pay. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, sorry, you got to book with somebody else. Probably a different shop, like, somewhere else. But, like, now I'm to the point where I get to just, like, I have my clientele and that's it. And I don't have to cut anybody else. And I'm super grateful that I've made it to that point in my life. So I can totally agree. Like, it's a nice feeling when you get to the point where you can finally say no, even to money, you know, of saying your money obviously is a little bit bigger money, but, for me, like, I'm like, no, thanks, I'm good. When you guys are at that camp, who's cooking? Brian, are you cooking? And what's your specialty? Like,
I like to cook.
What's your meal?
If I have like customers willing to pay for it, like, I hire my mom and dad.
Stop it, really?
No, they do a bunch of, like, Dutch oven type stuff.
Yum.
Yeah, oh, they're great. Like, I mean, every night will be like short ribs, potatoes, and it's ready when you get into camp, which is nice.
Yeah, because you're probably starving to death for 13 miles.
You know, I make them pay for their time and pay for the food and everything else. If I'm in camp cooking, typically, like, because I do archery, to get in the spots I want to go, we get up at 4. Like,
you set an alarm, or you just wake up at 4 anyways?
That's usually when I work out.
Yeah.
Well, I work out about 4:40. Then I'm getting up at 4:10. I get coffee going. I wake up the guides. Everyone gets rolling. We're out the door by 5. We're doing we're getting into our spots, working our stuff, and then by 9 you're kind of done.
At this point, are you guys kind of like well-oiled machines? Like, you wake these boys up, like, they know what they're doing, like, you all know where you're going, like, you got a plan, ready to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, everyone's got their assignments. Everyone knows where they're going. Their assignments are typically animals. Like, we're hunting, but we're not hunting an elk. We're typically hunting the elk. And so these guys all have, like, their clients are like, hey, we're hunting this bull. And some of them, we name them just to get the confusion out of it. So,
stop it. What's your favorite name you've done so far? Just give me, like, 3 good names.
Oh yeah? I got a bull we could never killed. he was found dead, and he's mounted in my house.
No.
No, it's awesome. I think
Okay.
it's great that these animals can live a full life,
Okay, I agree.
even amidst like all the technology and how complicated hunting's become. I think it's really cool.
That he's been able to live
His
that
name
full
was
life.
Chunky Monkey.
Chunky Monkey.
I love that bull.
He's sitting on your wall.
He's really cool. Bull I chased for like 6 years and never killed. His name was Uno.
Uno.
Well, he hung out with a big 5-point. Someone else had named Cinco. So Uno,
That's perfect.
Uno fit. Like when he like came around, is like, whoa, he's really big. So he was our number one, right?
Yeah. And Cinco is your 5-point.
Had an archery bull we killed. We called MJ for a lot of years because he was really wide, like Michael Jordan. Right? Like, I don't know if you remember, Michael Jordan had a poster everyone had in their rooms called Wings. And his arms were
No,
like
I
this.
didn't. But I have to go back and
and
look
they've
at
redone it. It's like a retro poster now. But he was super wide, and then like he always had his tongue out in all my pictures, like Michael Jordan. So,
MJ.
Yeah. So just to make things less complicated, we'll name some of these bulls, and this guide's going after whatever bull. Like we have a bull right now that we call T3, or some of the guys call him Terminator.
Terminator.
He's ridiculously
That's
big.
a crazy one.
Scary, like heavy. He's super cool. But like these guys are going after him, and me and my client were going after this bull. And some of them are down in the desert, and some of them are in the really high country.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of splits up and does their thing. But camp's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part. And everyone comes back together at night. But as far as meals, like I don't cook because we get in at 11:30 at night and we got to be back up at 4.
Yeah.
So if we have a big meal, it's usually lunchtime.
Yeah. During lunch.
Right.
Nice. Well, so like that's what I want to kind of get into this a little bit with you is what it's like at camp. So for me, owning a barbershop, like it's all men, right? It's a men clientele, and one of the things that I love is like taking care of people. And as I've furthered into my career of barbering and then becoming a business owner and owning barbershops, I realized that like I could make a difference in men's mental health, as far as like making them feel good about themselves and like looking good. Mm-hmm. But in yours, like there's got to be a huge impact of like you're with these guys in the middle of nowhere, away from your family, like you're just being your true, genuine self, and yet you're like learning, and you're probably a little vulnerable at some points, your clients are, because you're sitting next to someone who's shot big bulls and you're like, I don't know, I just had a bunch of money. Like, I'm just going to kill this awesome bull. But like, they're probably around big CEOs all day, or they are the CEO, and they're just in a bunch of meetings. And now they're just roughing it in there. Like, how do you think that like that campsite really would play into like a men's mental health factor?
Well, 98% of them know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
So those guys, like I'll kind of have a checklist. Like you're bow hunting, you need a shaft that's this strong. You need a broadhead that's this big. It can't be mechanical. You got to bust ribs. Like I have checklists. It rains every day. You need a small tarp in your pack and a flash pullover. Southern Utah rains a lot. Northern Arizona, same way. So like I have a checklist for these guys. I do have a few that aren't as capable dealing with those type of people. And I carry their stuff. Like I usually have extra. Like I'm a guide. I have paddles for like heart attacks in my pack.
That's awesome.
No, I've had some bad
That would be
situations.
me. You need that for me. That 13-mile hike.
We're at 11,000 feet.
Yeah,
so a
can't
lot
breathe.
of these guys, like the
sit in
one guy's
offices
from
maybe.
Nashville this year. I have one guy from Missouri. I have 2 guys from Oregon. All of them are coming from sea level.
Right.
And I make sure me and my guides are prepared for it. But all the same, like camp atmosphere, like, and you do a great job. Like I come in, you teach me how to do my mustache a little better because it looks shitty that day. And you fix my hair and I walk out feeling great. And the next day I'm like, shit, how did she do that? But camp's the same way, but it's more like, I don't have to make these guys feel good. I have to make them feel comfortable. I tell my guides we're entertaining.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that.
like
You're giving them an experience.
tell stories. Yeah, like get them out on this point. Like we have looking like places where we watch for elk that are the best views in all of southern Utah. Like I can see to Arizona where I kill elk. It's
That's
unreal.
crazy.
Like Navajo Mountains right there, and it's beautiful. And for these guys, I think getting away from the office and away from the family, like I'm like, when we're in camp, you can turn your phone on, do your shit, take care of your stuff. But when we're out, we're out.
So it's more like when you're out is when, so like, are you guys like conversating the whole time, or is it like when men go golfing and you come back and I'm like, so what did you guys talk about? And they're like, we didn't talk about anything. Like we just, you know, we just golfed. But do you guys actually like have conversations and like you like get to know these guys like pretty in depth? They're like,
I tell a lot of stories.
You do?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you're making an experience for these guys.
We're having talks. Like we're scheming. I always tell people I'm scheming. Like we're making plans. Today we got a southwest wind. This bull lives in this canyon. In order to kind of outsmart these animals, you have to outwork the wind. So I'll say we're going to come in with this approach. We've got a 2,200 foot climb today. So the morning's going to be hard. Bring an extra bottle of water. We're going to ascent really fast. Try to keep up. But like once you're up there, like plans always change. Nothing ever kind of, never works out. It works out. But typically it's like, it's something hard. It's physically demanding. But eventually you get to a spot where it's like,
it was worth it.
Well, we got to wait. He's stuck. Like, we can't work him. He's bedded right there. The wind's bad. He'll come out tonight. We got to talk for 6 hours or sleep, whatever you want to do.
I do love sleeping on a mountain. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like just sun shining, like just that like nice little breeze, like that, just being in like that peaceful, calm, like untouched or just lightly touched, like territory. You're like, it's just something about it that just like brings you in a really like calm state, you know?
So quiet, your ears ring. It's nice, yeah.
You're like, I can hear my own thoughts, like literally hear my own thoughts. Do you become like lifelong friends with these people?
A lot of them, yeah.
So most people, they've turned into like pretty good friends.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's because of like the moments that you've kind of had like on those mountains of like those trials of like the hiking and the like, we're waiting 6 hours for this bad boy to come out, like, so we ain't got nothing to do but become friends.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Tell me about like a really like crazy experience that you've had. Like you're telling me you have like heart paddles. Like I have to know a little bit more about that. Like that's so sketch.
I don't have like crazy stories with that. Like,
oh, thank gosh.
I remember having a guy like die in Colorado on a hunt I was the client.
He died with you guys?
He was in our camp, yeah. The elevation killed him. We were in Montrose, Colorado, which is super high. I know we were over 10,000 feet. And I don't remember where the dude was from. It was a long time ago. But we deal with a lot of altitude sickness. Like, more often than not, health stuff. I carry stitches.
Can you give someone stitches?
Oh yeah, for sure. It hurts.
I bet it does.
But like,
you bring a little bottle of vodka for just in case.
The new ones that are like, have you seen the new stitch kits that are like zippers?
No, is it
stick
similar?
Stick one here, and you pull them apart, and it closes.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, so I carry that stuff because a lot of our like wounds that are scary are knives to the leg, right?
Yeah.
Because we're cutting a lot of meat up.
Do you cut the meat for them, or do they cut their meat?
Yeah. I have in my contract that I don't have to.
It's just your discretion.
Well, I've had some like douchebag clients that are like, take care of him, I'll see you back at camp or see you in 3 days or whatever. And it's like, bullshit. Like, this is your mess. Like, you're going to clean it up. You're going to help me clean it up or I'm leaving and it's yours.
Yeah.
Like, I even called a warden once and said, hey, this dude's not packing his shit and he's wasting.
Yeah.
Like, there are laws that cover people from just cutting off antlers and leave. It's called waste.
Yeah.
And so, like, I keep myself protected in that, but I'm really good at it, so I usually stick around, cut these up.
My first deer, my dad was like, so you'll be gutting it and you'll be like tearing it apart. And he was like, he just hands me this like little skinning knife, doesn't tell me like how to do it or anything. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never even done this before. Hit the gut bag, guts everywhere. I'm like, after that, I was like, I'll never gut my own. Jared was just like, thanks, Dad, by the way. Like, I mean, you really should give some like tips or tricks, before you let people just start cutting into animals. But yeah, cut the gut back, and it was horrible. It was like the worst experience ever. And like, I mean, you just really don't know how to like do that stuff. So like, you definitely need someone to like teach you how. I mean,
Not
I
really.
definitely wouldn't do it. No.
That's how you learn.
You just hit that gut bag and then you'll never do it again. You're like, I will forever inch my way down this belly.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
don't
gross.
I don't gut things at all.
You don't?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, I didn't know
You can
that.
literally like get all the meat off without ever gutting an animal.
Stop. Yeah, no. I
And
mean,
all
like
I
you had to
leave
like
are
cut down
bones,
like
yeah.
all the way around like their little body parts, like everything, and then rip it all out.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to pack it out like that.
Well, and elk aren't deer. Elk are heavy. So even stripped down, no bones, like no hooves, no skin, nothing. We're just packing meat. That's 200 pounds.
Dang.
And these are trophy animals. We're taking out the rack, which is about 60 to 80 pounds, plus their cape, because people mount them, right? And that's probably about 120 pounds. So total, you have 400 pounds. But you split up 4 guys, no big deal. But if
Plus
you add
your pack you
if
already
you add
have
in
on.
bones and skin and all this other stuff, like that's dead weight. That's another 120 pounds. So that's just as weighs as much as a deer right there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got my guys just trained to. We don't gut. We're just cutting meat.
That's smart. Yeah. After my experience, like I don't know. I did go on an elk hunt, so I have been on one elk hunt before. It was a one and done. We went up Fairview Canyon, because I grew up in Indianola, so Fairview Canyon for me is just like right above, so skyline. And my dad kills this elk. I think it was a spike. So I think for anyone who is watching and maybe doesn't know, but a spike is just one-on-one.
One-on-one.
But he taught me that like in the back of elk's teeth is ivory teeth, and that's what makes their calls. What are their calls called?
Bugle.
Bugle. And I didn't know that like growing up as a kid that like they're just ivory teeth. It's just in the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad, I can't remember what he all took off, but he was like, since you helped me, I'm gonna let you have the teeth. And I'm like, I don't want its teeth. And he was like, you do want the teeth, it's ivory. I'm like, I don't want ivory teeth. And he's like, it's so cool, it's what makes the noise. It makes the noise for the elk. So do you keep your ivory teeth? Like, do you talk to them about that? That is
yeah,
nice?
usually clans do. I don't.
My dad like made it so special. I
have
don't
a
even
bunch
have
of
the
them
ivory
at
teeth.
home. I'm like, what am I gonna add to it? What do I do? Like,
My dad, he like made it seem like he's like, yeah, you'll definitely want this. I'm like, I don't even know where those ivory teeth are. Like, I definitely didn't want them. It was an interesting thing for sure.
they're cool and they're pretty. Like they usually have kind of a caramel color to them. And people make jewelry, and I have a tomahawk with some in it that are really cool.
You do?
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Like I had this custom knife maker do a tomahawk thing. It's pretty cool with some arrowheads and teeth in it, but really, what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That's why I say like I'm not real eccentric. I can't like keep all those antlers. I can't keep all those elk.
Yeah.
I have like 6 or 7 of the really really big ones at home.
Yeah.
And the rest of them I sell.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, like especially where you're doing it so often. What about your guides? Like, are you hiring them to do antlers too throughout the year?
No.
Just hunts.
Usually they're like me. They're kind of junkies, you know.
Yeah.
And they do it on their own. I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is an ideal like hiking outfit for you? Like if you're gonna go out.
Outfit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have to wear like the right clothes for sure. Like if I was to hike in this outfit, like I would lose calories because I wouldn't have enough stretch in like my crotch. So every step uphill, I'm gonna lose an inch on my feet because I can't move as far, right?
Right.
So I wear clothes that
Maximize.
they're tailored to hunters, right? Like there's more like flex in the crotch. They're usually a little more high waisted. Kind of keeps the rain and the wind out of going down your backside and cooling you off. I typically wear like hooded zipper shirts, always long sleeve. Even in the hot summer, I'll get the stuff that like fly fishing guides wear.
Yeah.
Try to keep the sun off me. I do a lot of stuff in the desert. Like I know it's high desert. It's still 8,000 feet, but it's pinyon, juniper, like oak brush type stuff.
Yeah.
So I usually try to stay pretty covered up. Gear's like pretty like, I have to wear the right clothes.
Yeah.
I have to have water on me. I keep a GPS. Garmin has satellite texting.
Yeah.
I keep that on me at like one knife and one headlamp, and everything else is extra.
But it does sound like you're like a pretty minimalist when it comes to like what you've been saying this whole time. Like if you don't need it, it's dead weight.
Yeah.
Like if it's not literally vital to what you're doing, then like you're not gonna have it.
Yep.
I like that. I think that I'm a minimalist except for when it comes to shoes in my closet. You know, that's where like the minimalist side of me leaves. Like my shoes, like I'm definitely not a minimalist for that.
Same. And my boots are the same way. Like in the summer, like I wear a really light boot. All of them are Gore-Tex. Like they're breathable, but they're also waterproof. Summertime's light, wintertime's heavy. There's usually like some kind of thinsulate. And make no mistake, like hunting is not a cheap sport.
Yeah.
Like gone are the days like way back when it was like we're hunting for meat. No. These guys are hunting because they want to get out of the house. They want to like be a part of something, and gear is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like my boots are usually around $700 to $900. My pants are $300. My tops, even those like thin fly fishing shirts, they're $120.
Dang.
Like everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Your optics you carry around are $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. Like
Yeah.
my Garmin GPS, $1,000. Like if I like just throw together like a dollar sign, like what's in my pack, clothes on my body, walking out of camp. I bet I walk out of camp with $6,000 plus. Oh hell, more than that. If I have my spotter in there, I'm $8,000 or $9,000 on my back.
Yeah. That's sketch.
Yeah,
Have you ever lost some stuff?
Oh yeah, you have to.
You just die thinking about it?
No, I can usually find it.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. You're not like you don't get like too attached to things. I think that's like, I think when people think of guide hunting who's not really like in the hunting world, it's like, oh, how would it be to just like take people hiking and like let them kill a bull? But what I think the perceived value of what you do isn't really shown because it's so back end, right? Like when I go to school and I become a barber, like they don't see that side, right? Like they just see me cutting hair. So they're like, oh, how would it be to just like make fast cash and like cut hair? But it's like, or when clients come in and they're like, oh, you're really expensive or you're a more expensive barbershop. And I'm like, man, like I've been cutting hair for 12 years and I've invested a ton into like myself, maybe not so much like into my tools, but definitely into myself and my ability to be able to cut hair and to be able to barber. But same with you. It's like for you, like all year long, you're tracking and you're looking and you're keeping your guys on the lookout and you're lining up dills and you're keeping yourself fit and you are having to like have like all this like equipment and swag and stuff that you need to be able to hunt. Like people don't see that, so when you tell them your fee, they're like, you're just gonna go take me to like fight an elk. You're like, oh no, this is a all year, several years took me to get here kind of thing. Do you ever feel like sometimes people like just kind of look at it as like, why am I paying so much? You're just gonna go take me to go shoot something. They don't realize like what all goes into it and what you've all had to do to get there.
Usually if they're hiring me, they know.
They know?
Yeah. So I don't have to do that. But, I'm thinking about you and cutting hair because I'm in the service industry, right? Whether it's my other job, which is doing commercial maintenance type stuff, or it's guiding, it's service, just like cutting hair.
Yeah.
It's freaking exhausting.
Yeah.
Because that's what your job is to kind of entertain.
Give an experience.
Like, you've got to be good because you want them to walk out the door feeling confident. Like, whenever I have some kind of a show or I'm going out to meet some client in Nashville, I come to you and you give me a cut and I feel great and I leave and things go well.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving these guys the confidence to go out and do their stuff. Like, guiding's kind of the same way. Like, by the end of the day, you're freaking tired.
Yeah.
Not just from hiking, but like
Emotionally.
holding the conversations.
Yeah, and
So a
making
lot of
sure
these
they're
guys
engaging and
don't know what to
impactful.
say, and they don't want to say something stupid. So a lot of them kind of clam up, especially for the first 3 or 4 days. And then they break free. But man, guiding is a service job that is like, you are entertaining.
Yeah.
And barbering's the same way.
I feel like you're more introverted. How does that work for you? Would you say that you're extroverted?
Oh, I'm in sales.
I just think maybe because you're a hunter and because you spend a lot of alone time, it makes me think that maybe you're more introverted than extroverted.
Oh no, I do conferences and talk in front of a lot of people. I am not an introvert at all.
Do you enjoy being alone when you're up there on the mountain though?
I'm really mellow and chill.
Yeah, super chill.
So maybe that's why you pull that vibe, but it's also what makes me do really well in sales and anything. Like, I have the confidence to tell people, like, no, you're wrong. This is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
This is what you're paying me for, and if you don't like hearing what I have to say, you can leave.
I love that about you. I love that about you a lot. Like, I feel like you've taught me that a lot, to like switch a tiny bit. So, I mean, you are considered an influencer on social media. I don't think that you really wanted to be an influencer on social media, but you are one. And we talk about this all the time. Like, I get a lot of shade on social media, and like for some, like it really does bother me. Like, and you always tell me, like, why do you let it bother you? You know, like, what did you tell me last time when we see each other? You're like, if somebody tells you that your hair is blue, like does it even matter, or like, is it even true? What did you tell me? Do you remember?
I told you to thicken your skin.
Yeah, probably that
I
too.
remember. I'm like, it's not. If you start listening to what they have to say and start kind of swaying to whatever those 10 people that are bitching are saying, you're not going to be you.
Yeah.
Like, it takes you away from you.
It really does.
You have to be you. The reason why they're listening or even paying attention is because you're being you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say, like, just thicken your skin a little bit. Don't let it bug you.
Like how many people talk shit to you on your social media?
A lot.
Especially like PETA type people. Like, you're just killing animals. Like, do you even engage in that, or you just let it stay on there? Do you delete it? What do you do?
Oh, no, I respond because they won't.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
But I don't get near as much of that as you'd think I would. I get more from other hunters.
Really?
Hunting is its own, like...
Competition? Like, they're super competitive against each other?
Well, yeah, they're a bunch of alphas. Like,
yeah.
All these dudes are like, they think they're top dog. That's why I'm going to kill some shit and do man stuff. They're like... They're terrible people, most of them.
God.
And so, yeah, they're their own demise. And yeah, they make comments if you're not,
You're not holding that gun
You
right.
take too many selfies. You know, why are you hiking in a tank top? Like,
What?
This is just like, I'm thinking, because I don't get a lot of it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I've done enough that nobody really talks trash. But I still see it in guys that are coming up, and it's crazy. Like,
You think they do it to like help them get followers, or like, who's this guy?
it can't. There's no way. That stuff never makes you more popular.
I agree.
Like, the hater sites always are their own demise in the end.
Yeah.
Like, so I think they do it just because they're jealous. And it really shows. It's like, bro, like, why are you coming at that dude? Like, at least he's out there trying.
Yeah.
You've posted 3 things. Like, you're a coward.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really strange.
Will you say that to them too, like in the comments?
Oh,
like,
100%.
Yeah.
I don't care about that stuff. That's easy.
I love that about you, because like, I know for me, like I'm a people pleaser. Like, I just want to make everyone happy, and like coming to the realization that like I'm never going to make everyone happy has been really hard for me. And so, but I have to accept that fact, because otherwise I don't sleep at night. And then you're right, like, you're not your true self. Like, you let that piece of yourself kind of go. How do you feel about being like an influencer? Do you even feel like an influencer?
No, because it's like, hunting's its own weird bubble, right?
Yeah.
It's not like anyone really cares. The most famous hunters in the world were never like, with exception to like Teddy Roosevelt maybe. But it's not like, yeah, they make money, and I mean, there's a lot of money in that industry. It's ridiculously wealthy.
Yeah.
So there's guys that are like, they make a ridiculous amount of money from the hunting market, and they're famous, but they're not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm well known in a bubble, but it's not like, so to me, it can't go to my head because none of it's real.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely don't. I don't know that I like would strive to be an influencer. Like, I think that you're just like really hardened on you just don't let people affect you, and I still do. So I don't think like I would be like strong enough to be able to be an influencer. It would take me some more time, more skin thickening.
yeah, maybe.
For sure.
Boundaries, Sadie.
Yeah, boundaries.
Yeah.
Just like not. So tell me what you think about this. Like I heard this advice the other day. So I actually find David Goggins to be like a little too much for me. But I've been kind of challenging myself to do things that I don't love to do or listen to and kind of figure out why I don't. And so he said this thing. He said he said he'll post something on social media and he'll archive all of the haters. So he'll delete it because he feels like he doesn't want any of his followers to see that negativity.
Right.
But he saves it. And he saves it because when he doesn't want to wake up in the morning and he doesn't want to go work out, he looks at those texts and he's like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm going. Like, screw all these haters. And these haters have yet given him motivation. I feel undecided of how I feel about it because part of me is like, do I want haters to be my fuel or do I want to be my own fuel? But like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do haters give you fuel or do you yourself give your fuel? And like, do you think it's like good advice or bad advice? How do you feel about that advice?
Well, I think Goggins is broken.
Okay.
I like him. He said that, so he wrote about that in his second book. Like that, it's a whole section. And he's like a remarkable human, but his sickness can't be duplicated. Like nobody else can understand where that comes from. And while hate can be a great fuel, but you're fueling your body like with revenge. Like I'm going to show these guys.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's healthy, like mentally or like I'm a big like I like can feel people's energies. I can feel their vibes, and I'm staying away from that dude.
Yeah.
And if I knew Goggins personally, like, yeah, his story is cool.
It is cool.
But if I had to talk to him every day, I'd be like, dude, like your vibe, like who you are, you're too hard and you're too angry. I gotta stay away from you.
Yeah.
I like the dude. Like his story is amazing. But man, to fuel your body with your mind with that kind of, I can't imagine that's healthy.
Yeah.
So I'd tell you not to do that.
I just like thought about it the other day and I'm like, I don't know if I would want to like pick back up all the hater conversations, because they're so emotionally like draining for me that I'm like, I don't know that I'd want to turn around, and I'm not like trying to prove anything to anybody except for to myself. Like I feel like I'm my own, like I'm only challenging to be my best, better than I was the next day, and I'm only challenging me. So it's like I don't want to have haters fuel me. I don't feel like I have anything to prove to them. I just have something to prove to myself, and it's to be better than I was the next day. So I've been like really trying to open my mind to like, just like the hate on social media and what that's like and what that's been like for me, but really trying to like navigate, like don't want those people to like affect me. Like I only want to affect myself. Like I want to have control over myself and not other people or their comments, voices, or whatever. So.
No, I think you're smart. I don't know. All I have to do is wake up, like peel my shirt off, and I'm like, oh, shit. All right, I gotta go work out.
Peloton.
Has nothing to do with like, I don't need to sit and read hate comments. Like we're always our own worst critics.
It's so true.
And we're like my buddy Willie always says, like, you gotta fight off the old man every day. Willie's 56 and he can still out hike me.
You gotta fight off the old man?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think about it all the time because, and I remember, like, old age hits you, like everything. You get in your 30s, some of your joints start to creak, you start to get bunions on your feet, you start to get weird things. 40s, it gets even worse. And, like, I turned 47 in 2 weeks, and it's like, I feel a lot. And 2020 was a hard one for me. Like, I started like, God, why can't my face is red. I'm feeling like I can't breathe. I feel like my heart's pumping toothpaste, and I start realizing like I gotta start doing some things, and I start getting my blood work done, and my red blood cell counts are like crazy high. I had high blood pressure, like
Really?
yeah, and I mean I look like this.
Yeah.
I've been the same height and weight forever, but
And you
your
hunt
body
and
is not the
nothing.
same. So
Yeah.
I've made all these adjustments. I like do hormone therapy. I give blood every 2 months, and I have to dump it or my blood gets too heavy.
Yeah, I get too high of a
And-
hemoglobin.
Yeah, it's some hematocrit, something disease, I don't know, but I've learned like certain things, like this is how I have to take care of my body now, and that's just life. Like that's being old. But I keep up with my guides that are 26, and
Yeah.
I'm 47.
Yeah.
Like it says something. If if you're taking care of your body, I think you can do it.
Tell me again what your friend said. What did he say? You got to keep up with the.
Gotta fight off the old man.
Got to fight off the old man. I want to remember that. I mean, obviously, I would have to say like old women or something, but I like that a lot. That's really like such a wise thing to say. When you guys are up there on the mountains, like, have you ever had a conversation with someone that like nearly just like brought you to tears because you were like we talked about just how much we just barely like we love like David Goggins and like what he says, but like we wouldn't be friends with him. I for sure wouldn't be friends with him either. But like, have you ever had a conversation with anyone on the mountain that you were like, wow, like this is so impactful, like I feel it, like I feel what you're saying, like what a crazy life or what a crazy story or anything like that?
I think all of them.
All of them?
I can't imagine like I've only had a few guys that I walked away with like, dude, you're cardboard.
Your cardboard.
Like usually like everyone's going through really hard shit all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone, like we're all struggling in some way with something.
Even these big CEOs that are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Everyone's got a crazy story, and everyone's got heartache, and everyone's fighting something hard all the time.
Yeah.
That's why one of the things I just don't understand, the hate on social media, is I'm like, whoa, like you said that to another living person?
Yeah.
Like, why would you go there? You know they're dealing with shit just like you are.
Yeah.
Like one of the popular things the kids are doing, like they'll type, everything's acronyms anymore, but KYS, kill yourself. I
didn't even know that.
Oh no, it's like, and I'm like, I'm telling my kids, I'm like, you would say that to another person? What if they did?
Yeah.
What if that was the last text they ever got?
Yeah, seriously, that's so scary.
Like, you really wrote that?
Yeah.
I never thought about that, Dad. It's like, holy crap. What if it was the last thing you said? Not only is that hard on your head, but what about her mom? Like, can you imagine what she thinks about you as a person?
Yeah.
That you probably inspired what just went down?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, that's heavy. And so people get behind their keyboards and they type stuff they don't necessarily mean, and I think you should take it the same way. Like they're not literally coming at you. They're coming at their own feelings. Does that make sense? They're jealous about something. They're mad you're being successful. They're mad you're putting yourself out there. Whatever it is, they're not really telling you to kill yourself.
Yeah.
They're laughingly KYS.
Yeah. I think about this. This like brings something up for me. This was like such a cool moment for me. Somebody had posted on like the local indoor page, and they said like looking for like a local barber shop, and it was killer. It was like fellas. Boom, this kid writes this like long response about like why you shouldn't go to the fellas, and I was like heartbroken. I'm like, dang, like this is like public, like all these people are seeing this, and I'm like, there's so many good, and then there's boom, this like long paragraph of this kid who's like, don't go here, here's why. I can't even remember what it all said, but I remember the kid's name. 2 years goes by. A couple people in my leadership team say, they're like, there's this marketing agency that wants to come in and talk to us about marketing for the fellas or whatever. And we're sitting in my office. They both sit down. The kid says his name. I instantly remember the name. And this was 2 years ago. I remember his name, and then the guy says his name. And my brain is like, this is crazy. The kid's name was super unique, by the way. And I'm not going to say it since we're talking public. But it was definitely unique. I knew right away it was for sure this kid. Like, I remember seeing his face. Like, I had looked him up. Like, all of that. and they were coming to sell me, right? They were coming to sell me to have them take over my social media. So I let them do like their whole spiel and like how much they love like local businesses, blah, blah, blah. I asked the kid, I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but we actually, like, we have met each other. I'm like, you're the first person to ever comment on like a public forum and talk badly about my business. And obviously, like, everyone's face is like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening right now? And I'm like, but your words matter. Like, I think it's kind of crazy that you're sitting in here trying to approach me and to work for my company and put it out there as this awesome business and you're going to market it, blah, blah, blah. But you're the first person who's ever like publicly shamed my company and now you want to work for me. It's like as if, and he was like, I don't even remember saying that. I'm like, you don't remember publicly shaming a business on social media? It really did impact me. Like, it's still, like, I remember your name. We're sitting in this meeting right now. You're asking me for a job. I know who you are. I know what you do. You talk bad about businesses on social media. I'm good. I don't want that. I'm not going to partner with anyone who just keyboard warriors it. And it was such a, like, moment of, like, finally, like, got to tell, like, one of these keyboard haters, like, nope. And they gracefully got up and his partner was like, I'm so sorry that's happened to you. I'm like, don't be sorry. I'm like, hopefully you guys don't shame any more other local businesses. Try to be better. Be better. Be better than that. And it was like, that moment was so cool in my life because I was like, yes, like, remember that shitty ass comment you left me? Like, now you're getting this job. And I was so excited. But I think that falls back to, like, people don't recognize or realize, like, what they say. Like, people will remember that and they'll hold on to it. And one day when you want to make a deal with me, you ain't making that deal with me because I remember you and I know who you are and I know what you do, and that sticks with you. Who you are and what you say, it matters, and that is deleted, but it's not deleted. I remember it, you know.
Right.
So I think that what you're saying is like very true. Like, you know, go kill yourself. Like, just you just want to throw out some comments, but like they matter. It matters and it'll be remembered. You know, and I think social media, like, people are really quick to be like, I don't even remember that. It was just so, like, I just said it really quick in the moment or whatever. But no, like, think about what you say. It matters.
The good and the bad.
Yeah, good and the bad. For sure the good, too. No, I love that you mentioned the good, too. Yeah, no, I love what you do. Like, I think you getting these guys out, like this, like these big, like, CEOs or even just, like, people who hunt, like, getting them out, getting them on this experience, like, and taking them out. I think it's cool that you cook for them. And I think it's awesome that your parents let, like, do cooking, too. Do you ever have, like, any of your girls go? Like, your kids? Girls ain't going? They're like, no way.
Oh, they're welcome. They don't want to. They're like,
heck
Dad's
no.
too hardcore. I don't want to deal with it.
That is hardcore.
My oldest that works at the coffee shop over here, she comes down, does cameras with me once a year. And then she'll go do slot canyons with me and stuff. But as far as
Yeah, like, she's fit.
Killing stuff, no interest. Like,
yeah,
at
they're
all.
good.
Yeah. And then my younger two, they shoot bows with me and still will. If I'm in the backyard shooting, they'll grab their stuff and come shoot with me sometimes. But hunting hasn't been their world.
No.
And that's okay.
Not their thing. No, I feel like I'm kind of forcing my kids into barbering to be able to, like, always have that skill and backup. But I can already tell that in some of them, they're like, this ain't going to be, like, my thing. But who knows? Like, we'll see where it, like, takes them and, like, where they go. But I really appreciate you, like, being on this podcast and, like, talking about, like, your life and, like, what you do. And, like, I think it's the most unique person we will have podcast just because everyone's kind of been in, like, more of, like, a little bit more of, like, the barbering industry. But yours, I think, just flows so much with us because you are in the service industry and you are, like, taking care of, like, mental health and you are taking care of your physical, like, self and you are, like, you know, creating experiences for people. So I think it, like, meshes really well with, like, what I'm trying to, like, put out there. So yeah. I appreciate you and hopefully we get to have you, like, again on the podcast.
For sure. Anytime.
Okay. You guys, you can follow Ryan on social media. It's DC Outfitters, right? Mm-hmm. And, yeah, go watch all of his cool stuff. He kills some pretty sweet stuff. And check out the mustache that I be keeping clean. See ya.